Madhouse Podcasting Network.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome to another episode of Behind the Mask. I am Jeremy, your host, and today Scott is absent. But we are here today with a very special guest, Mike Arevalo. Right? That's how you pronounce your last name, right?
It's, the Spanish way is Arevalo, but even my family don't even say it like that. so anything is cool. Most people say it like that, Arevalo. They go that's how they say it.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was Arevalo or Arevalo, but
yeah, the actual legit Spanish is Arevalo, but no one ever says it like that ever.
Right. Well, it's AKA also known as Lost Boy from Knott's Scary Farm. He is a veteran of the event. And we were going to get into his history and why he decided to do the event, and so we'll just get into it, man. Mike, so how are you doing, dude?
Pretty good. I mean, everything's been changing since you knew my father passed and all that, and I was like taking care of him for like 10 years, and so but then the crazy thing is COVID hit, so I couldn't really do that. Like I had like a year of freedom. Yeah. And then boom, COVID happened.
Yeah, I remember the last time I saw you was 2019 at you did a booth at
Midsummer
Screams. They did have that Spirit Awakens. They do so many now. I'm like, which one was it?
There's more. Yeah, there's way more now, and they do invite me, but it's like I only paid for regular Midsummer Screen.
Yeah.
Because you could pay ahead and get your booth.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't want to do all the little ones that keep popping up. It's too many, Yeah, but they're good. But
yeah, I went to Spirit Awakens back in October, I think, or when I don't remember when it was, but I went to that and that was cool. No, it was in August. I was hoping to see you there. But I get it. It gets costly when you're trying to do a booth every single event. But yeah. So last time I saw you was then. And we caught up quite a bit. But let's talk about you being a scary guy. And
okay.
that's what we say.
I guess I'll start out like what inspired me, kind of like whatever I've noticed. That's what people are talking about.
Yeah, you start wherever. Like what got you into it?
It got into it because this is a weird origin, but back in the 80s, I was me and my friends were we had like a breakdance crew.
Nice.
And so I was like the popper guy, because that's different. Breakdancing is it's on the floor and all that.
Right.
And then popping is more robotic.
Right.
And this is the 80s. So what we would do is we'd go to they had two dance clubs at Knott's called Cloud9 and Studio K. Mm-hmm. And so all the best breakers, even from California, would show up there, and there'd be like battles all the time.
Yeah.
So then we were already going to that regularly, and then I saw all the ads for like Knott's Scary Farm. This is around like 1983, 84. I saw the ads and I was like, we should all go. Like we should, our breakdance crew and all our friends, we should go. So I bought like in 83 or 84, I bought like 10 tickets. I saved up money, bought 10 tickets, and then they all paid me back. We went in, and it was like super fun, like all crazy. All my friends were running, like getting scared, and
right.
And that's when I was like, this is so good, man. And then and I was all into Halloween just like as a kid.
Okay.
So there was two things that I liked, was the Halloween culture and all that, and then this thing, Scary Farm, that we all went to. So for like the next 10 years, I was going with all these people, And then as the years would go on, they kind of didn't care anymore. Like they were like, I don't want to go to that. They thought it was not stupid, but they weren't into it at all. Like
Yeah.
at a certain point.
Right.
So then as I even got older and older in my 20s, then I would invite, a couple friends here and there, and they'd be like, yeah, this is cool, man, but it just wasn't like the original time when all the people would go.
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, how can I experience it more? So I was like, I'll just be one of those guys.
Maybe.
And so then I thought, okay, now it's a little weird, the story kind of, because so I went to college, and then a friend of mine, this girl, she straight out of college, she got a good job at Knott's, like in the administration area where all the executives are.
Yeah.
So she got a job there in HR. And then she said, like, hey, like, I think, how you like Not Scary Farm so much. And I go, yeah. And she goes, you got to audition. So I was like, oh, okay. So then she gave me this like flyer. And then the audition was in the Valley. Like,
that's weird.
But yeah, but you'll understand when I tell you the ending of it.
Okay.
But so like I'm like, this is crazy, man. This is legit, man. This is like such an audition. This is like serious, man. So I drove all the way in. It was at the Debbie Allen or Carrie Fisher's mom. I forgot what her name was, but it was like a famous dance studio.
Okay.
So I went in there. There was like the desk. There was like all these. I guess they were Knott's people. I don't know. And then they made us do all these like crazy physical stuff, like I don't know, like gymnastic stuff. And I was like, I can't do none of that, right? And then they had us run on our hands and legs across the room back and forth, and I was like the lamest dude. Like I couldn't do it. I was like, what the hell is this, man? Like I was kind of mad. I was like, this is how you have to do this for a monster?
I'm a break dancer, not a popper, or I'm a popper, not a break dancer.
Yeah, I'm not, like I ain't no floor guy.
That's right.
And then so then I go up to the people and I go, man, this is really hard. I go, you guys really train the monsters good. And they go, this is not for monster. And I go, what are you talking about? And they go, it's for stuntman.
Oh. Well, that makes sense.
So I drove all the way back to Orange County. I told my friend, you gave me the stuntman thing, man.
Oh, dude.
I go, I just want to be a monster. And she goes, oh, okay, well, here's the auditions for that. And then I was like, oh, man.
What year?
Like
what year was this?
This was my first year was 96, so it must have been like summer before that.
Okay.
So I auditioned, and then I get it, and they gave me a log ride.
Okay.
So that was my first thing, and that is even funny too, because as you fast forward to today, everyone's like, you gotta go to streets, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Like what? That's the cool thing, right?
Right.
Well, I was going to Knott's for so long, excuse me,
Yeah.
but I thought the log ride is the best one ever. Like I thought that in my head, like because I thought at the very top of the hill and you go down and there's a guy at the top that scares you.
Yeah.
So I always used to go, I want to be that guy. And then when I got in log ride, they were like, the talent captains were marching everyone to their spot the first night.
Yeah. And
they're like, and you're here. And then they put me at the top and I was like, I made it to the top of Knott. So I thought, like, I made it. This is the best position at Knott.
Yeah.
Like not knowing that everyone hates being in
the worst ever.
So in my head, I was like so happy. And like when I was scaring people, at the top, I was like, this is the best thing in the whole wide world. So like for me, it was like the best.
Right.
And then over time, I realized, oh, everyone doesn't want to be there. They want, so I figured that later.
So did you experience the same thing everybody else did in there, the hauntings? Did you experience any? They say the log ride's haunted. And we had
there was nothing that happened. There was something very bad that happened, but it wasn't a haunting. But it was that year was when the train guy died there, like right next to the log ride. There was a. I don't know if he was a conductor or just someone. He was someone that worked on the trains, and he got caught between two of them as they were moving.
Oh wow!
So it was that night, that year, 96. They told us like, hey, just don't go. You can't go. You can't go to the tracks because we used to take our breaks under the mountain.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes in the tracks because it was hidden.
Yeah.
But they said you can't go to the tracks, and we were like, they wouldn't tell us, And then someone found out that it was that.
Oh wow.
So it was like there's no ghosts, or nothing like that. But that because see people after that say that is a haunted thing, like that incident.
Yeah. Oh,
but
maybe.
this happened when I was there, so I didn't go back to it.
Okay. Yeah, that's I was there in 96 and I don't remember that. But then it makes sense because I never left my maze. I broke at my maze. I never left my maze the whole night.
Yeah, you were saying in your podcast that you pretty much like just went by the rules and just stayed in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a goody two-shoe back then, man. And yeah, but the following year was totally different.
Yeah.
So log read. So you do log ride. How many years did you do that?
Just one.
Okay.
Just one, and then here's another goofy story that happened with that girl, the one that worked. She says, "Oh, how was your first year?" And I go, "I loved it, man." And then she's like, "Well, since I work in HR, I can get you any position you want." And I was like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, I'll just write your name in." And I was like, she goes, "And you're gonna die when you hear what I said." But she goes, "What do you want to be?" And I go, "I think I want to try Blackout."
Really?
But I could have had anything.
Yeah. So you did.
She told me that I could have went. She goes, "You could go to this thing called Streets," and she said, "There's a guy named Craig, and I could tell him." She said that.
Yeah.
And then she also said, because my favorite maze was Dominion of the Dead.
Okay.
So she's like, you could go to Dominion of the Dead because I know you like that one. I go, "Yeah, I'll go to that one, but I'll be a Blackout." And she's like, "Okay," but it's so dumb that I didn't take advantage of like.
Yeah.
I could have. She goes, "I could make you one of the makeup vampire." She had the books, like she had access to the books and was allowed to write in them.
Who was that?
Her name, well, she's not a big wig or anything. Her name was Patty Seitz, and she was just like an entry-level HR employee.
Oh, okay.
But she had, because she was administration, she was allowed to go anywhere and look at anything. So she even told me that she knew Craig at the time.
Yeah.
Because she was a year-round employee. And he didn't talk to her about me. He didn't know who I was. But she said, all I have to do is talk to a guy named Craig if you want to go to Streets. And I go, "Well, maybe in the future, but not right now." But I could have had anything, man.
Oh, wow. So you did Blackout your second year.
Yeah.
And probably hated yourself the whole time.
Well, I did after I realized how difficult it was to get good positions. Then I was like, "Oh man, what did I do?" Like I had it handed to me.
Yeah.
And then because she left after a couple of years.
That was going to be my question. So I'm taking it the next year she was gone.
She was gone. I think she was gone after that because because I would have asked her, "Hey, can you," but she was gone. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She worked there like 2 years, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I was like, only a few people I told that story to because it's kind of embarrassing because it's like all these positions are considered like, oh, really hard to get, and you have to wait 5 years, and you have to do this, and you have to do that, and then like all I had to do was go, "Give me that," and then she would have gave it to me.
Right, you would have been Ghost Town with me that second year.
I could have been Ghost.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny, and I never knew that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
no one really knows. Like I don't, because it's also kind of like a weird bragging if I go, oh, I could go any position, like
Yeah, you don't want to be. You don't want to be that guy. I get it,
yeah, yeah,
and you're not that guy. You're not that guy at all. So no, I
yes.
totally get it. So what was it like being a blackout then, going from log ride to being a blackout?
Okay, here's some more crazy stuff. Okay, like it got crazy, okay, but like I I really liked it, but okay, see, I'm older now. I try not, I'm not like this no more, but and everyone knows me, oh, he's a good guy and all that. But see, like I was very like kind of like aggressive physically when I was younger like that.
Okay.
So I took it I saw it as security. It is not security at all.
Right.
But I behaved like security. And so I enjoyed it a lot because it felt like, oh, I'm help. Because see, the reason what I was so aggro about it is because when I was in log ride, a guy took a drink and threw it in my face when he was passing by.
Hmm.
And I ran down the freaking mountain and I was gonna get the guy, and then my talent captain goes, no, no, but I was like all fuming mad.
Yeah.
So when I became a blackout, I was like, here's my time to like get those dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everyone knew me as so they would come to me like security, like all the monsters in it was Dominion of the Dead.
Okay.
So they would always they would run looking for me, or the talent captains would look for me, which is crazy because I wasn't security, but like they really saw me like that.
It's yeah. Well, I mean, blackouts are really there to help control the line. They're
Yeah,
there also to
that's
help
really
to
it's like they're like ushers. All they are is ushers.
yeah, basically. But it is. I can imagine it's probably there's probably a thin line of psychologically where you kind of feel like a security guard because you
Yeah,
do
because they get hurt, they get hit so much, and
not
you
just
know,
that, but you are there to also protect the monsters from the guests, from incidents happening, and so
yeah, yeah,
in a way, you are a low-rated security inside the maze,
yeah, kind
theoretically.
of like eyes, I guess, kind of like.
Correct. Yeah. So you're the rat.
Yeah,
You're the rat. But yeah, so I can see where that mentality would come in. I remember getting along with a lot of the blackouts, especially the ones at the in the Calico Square for the hanging. We would totally be cool with them and friends with them because they'd always be at that spot, and they would totally do security duties and push the
yeah.
crowds away.
It's like when you're in Calico Square, someone could easily come up behind you. So if you have a guy, a blackout or a line controller, they could make that person go away.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah,
So
I can imagine you getting into that thought process or that mentality. I guess
yeah, I was heavily like that. And then the thing was, I'm gonna go further into it if you want to hear it, but
okay.
like, so everyone knows at the time that I was like really close with that with Sandy, the Queen Sandy.
Yes.
So the reason that started is because uh, there was a big guy named Aaron. His name, they call him Big Train. That was his haunt name, and he's always been a blackout, real big guy. And he was like, Sandy wanted him always to guard her, like stand next to her.
Hmm.
But then one night, in those early days, he said to me, he's like, "Hey man, I need a break, and it's not my break time. Can you watch Sandy for a little bit?" So I was like, "Okay." So I was like, and dudes were trying to grab her and everything. So I was like totally pushing dudes away, and like
Yeah.
she would look at me like, and then she said, I remember the first thing she said to me, she was like, "You're really good at this." And then the next day, the talent captain goes, "Sandy wants to know if you and Aaron could guard her."
Oh man.
So that's how I became known as like her blackout.
That's cool.
So yeah, and then me and Aaron, oh dude, we threw people out. We're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, but the guests don't know that.
They don't know.
They just see somebody that's dressed in regular clothing and you know
dude.
telling them to get out.
Like, okay, so at one part of Dominion, there was like a gate that goes to the like the out in the front where all the rides are and everything.
Yeah.
So we would take dudes like a nightclub, and grab them, run, push them through the door, and throw them out.
Oh gosh.
And that is so not, you can't do.
Yeah, you can't do that now. Back then,
But
you
we
can get
were
away
we
with
were
it.
known as like the guys that do that, and
You're the
so all the
Dominion of the
monsters would
Dead
go to me and Aaron
Bouncers.
for, huh?
The Dominion of the Dead Bouncers.
Yeah, yeah. And there was a lot of trouble there because they had a lot of vampire girls. So there was always guys trying to like either hit on them or like they'd corner the girls and all kinds of
I
stuff.
remember a lot of problems from that maze.
Yeah, so I mean, I got stories of huge fights. I'll tell them if you want, but like there was, yeah. So me and Aaron had to physically protect her and everybody else, and everyone was cool with it. And the crazy thing is, even I don't know if I should mention his name because he's a high executive.
You don't need to. You don't have to mention him.
Huh?
You don't have to mention his name.
Okay, well there's a guy that was at the time he was kind of like the lead of all the talent captains.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's way up in Cedar Fair, like way up there.
Yeah.
But at the time, he was like the lead of all the time. And he took me aside and he said, I just want to tell you, you're doing a good job and keep up doing what you're doing. And in my head, I was like, he's really saying that? And then some other blackout girl came up and she goes, did he just say you did a good job? And I go, yeah. And she goes, he doesn't say that about no one. She goes, and so I was like happy that he recognized you, but at the same time I was like, he's got to know that I was like manhandling people, and he just didn't get it. He's like cool with it,
You're protecting the talent, and I'm sure everyone's,
Yeah. So and that's why I'm not going to mention his name, because what if they look back and they go, hey man, you weren't supposed to let that guy do that.
No, they're not going to give a crap anymore. It's a totally different.
But
company,
it was crazy. That was crazy times, man, as a blackout. So if you're saying like, how did you like it? I was like, well, it was a lot of action, like, so I liked it.
Yeah. So you're a blackout. You did that obviously for 1 year. And
I think, well, I know I did it for like a couple of years, because I even did it when they destroyed Dominion.
Oh, okay.
Like they put it was called Gothic Graveyard. And it was like we called it the Vampire Trail because it was so little.
Yeah.
So I did that was my last blackout year.
Okay.
I did it for like two or 3 years.
Okay. So now we're in 98, and that's your first year or you're going back as a monster. So
when I went back as a monster, it was
99.
way later. It was like 2001.
Oh shit! What did you do? So you did blackout for that many years?
Yeah, it was like
oh jeez.
It was like late 90s and then 2000, the year 2000.
Okay. So you just enjoyed doing it?
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it, and Sandy was like really like kind of like wanted me to. She wasn't forcing me to do it, but it was not just because I protected her, but because we were good friends. So she didn't want me to go off, but she told me that she knew one day that I would want to go back to Monster, and that she knew that eventually I would leave the maze. Like she even said that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Even though I didn't want to at the time. I didn't want to leave the maze, but but yeah, I went from blackout to a vampire position, like makeup and everything.
And what maze was that? Dominion again, or what? Or it was
this time it was brand new, and it was called Lore of the Vampire.
Lore, okay. So tell us about Lore of the Vampire. Obviously, so Sandy was there too.
Sandy was there. She was still the queen in the middle.
Yeah.
And so there was all this like talk of what are they going to do with the vampire maze, because it was popular to have vampires at that time. Like now, I don't think so, but at that time it was. And so there was all these rumors of what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And then someone said they heard that they were gonna have like the movie The Lost Boys. They were gonna have
Oh,
Lost Boys in there,
that would
and
be
then we
cool.
were like, and I was like, if they do, I'm going for that one. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
Is that where your name comes from?
Yeah, it comes from that. Yeah, because it on the actual paper it said Lost Boy number 1 on my spot,
Oh, okay.
and then and it had like 3 or 4 or 5 other ones that said Lost Boy number 2, 3, 4. But because I kind of got to know like the designers,
Hmm.
and then one of them said like, I know you like the whole vampire kind of like culture thing, like the movies and all that, and you worked in Dominion. You could try out for that. He was saying like he was being nice, but he was basically saying indirectly he was going to give it to me.
Okay.
So so I just thought, oh, I'm gonna try out like everybody else, and lo and behold, like it was on. It said it had my name on there, like for Lost Boy, and so then that's where the name came from because it was on the paper, and then everyone was like, "Hey, Mike, did you get one of those positions?" And I go, "Yeah, I got Lost Boy. I got the first one." And then I Tracy, I don't know if you know Tracy Long.
Yep.
she she was on CS at the time, and then she started calling me Lost Boy on the streets. Like she was on the streets, and she go, Lost Boy, come here, da, da, whatever. And then so it's kind of because the paper said it, and people like Tracy would just kind of say it,
Oh, okay.
and then it just kind of stuck.
That's kind of cool. I mean, as far as I know, I think you're one of the first people, or the only people that actually has the actual position name, not necessarily the
Oh, okay.
position name as your nickname.
It could
I
be,
don't.
yeah,
Yeah,
because it was on there, like it said Lost Boy.
that's cool. I don't know if anybody else had had their actual like
You're
position
right,
name
because
because
usually it says like gruesome number 1 or
yeah, or
you know.
like my first year, and I was a wretched warrior 87 or
Uh-huh.
something like that. Or
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah, so yeah, that's probably true. It could Sandy might be the other one because the position is Vampire Queen,
mm-hmm.
and they would call her the Queen, but I don't.
Yeah,
But yeah, no one else. Yeah, no, yeah, like
yeah, not that
I can't
I'm
think of any
aware of.
other. Yeah, that they call the character name.
Yeah,
I can't think of any.
I forgot so many people's haunt names. I forgot a lot of
Uh,
people's real names and only know them by their haunt names.
yeah,
So, Scott would be talking to me about people, and I'm like, "Who are you talking about?" It's like, "Dude, so and so." Oh, and vice versa. It's like
yeah.
I have
There's like
forgotten.
yeah. I think I remember most of them. I think I remember like, but yeah, there's like a million, and then there's new people that I don't know,
Yeah,
and then they say like a weird, funky name, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
yeah, we've been gone for a bit, so it's like so
Yeah.
many people have come and gone. I mean, I went back in 2015, but it
Oh yeah,
wasn't.
you did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I only met a handful of people. I really wasn't like I wasn't there on most of the nights. Probably like less than half of the nights I wasn't there,
Yeah.
and I kind of just stuck with a couple of the people I actually knew, and
Yeah.
but I didn't really like meet too many people, just a handful. Greg Daniels is one, but yeah. So anyways, so you do Lore of the Vampire. So you're Lost Boy. So tell us
Mhm.
about that. Like you had makeup and everything, fangs
I
and
had
all of it.
I had custom fangs by a guy that was at the Halloween club, that local Halloween club. There was a guy that was there, and then later when he quit, I went to a guy that's called Lord of the Fangs, and he's in the Valley.
Okay.
So but see, everybody at Knott's that were vampires went to those two guys.
Oh, nice.
So we all it's kind of like like the Slider guys all know what to buy. Um, sorry, hold on a second. They all know what to buy, like the different materials and all that.
Yeah.
So it was the same thing with the vampire maze.
Okay.
Like everyone knew where to go for that stuff. And so that was like my favorite I think that was could be my favorite time was Lost Boy character,
Okay.
and it was based on the movie, and then the not really based on the movie, but like the look was based on the movie,
Yeah.
and then the makeup was also that, and kind of like they even wrote on the makeup table it said Buffy forehead.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
so they would
Did they use the Wuchi pieces,
they
right? Or did they
they
make their
used
own?
Witchy for the first year,
Okay.
and they were so crappy that they went back to I mean they started sculpting them.
Okay.
Like here's so that was my look, like the costume.
Okay.
So it was like the trench coat, and then here's a better look of the witch of the sculpted
Yeah.
like right at the top you see it's more sculpted.
Right.
So
So they're very demonoid vampires.
yeah, they look kind of like evil looking, like
Yeah. Not they weren't like Buffy the Vampire Slayers. Where they had the actual human skin and very subtle, not subtle,
yeah.
but it wasn't so demonic and so defined.
Yeah,
The brows.
it was a good character. It was like aggressive looking, but it was really cool. Like a lot of people that go through all the vampire mazes, even the old ones, they're really into that stuff. So it
Not
was a
those
cool
are
like
before like the recent mazes that John had been doing. Those are probably some of the best mazes that Knott's ever did, in my
and which
opinion.
ones were they?
All the vampires.
Oh, the more newer
Nightmare.
ones?
Nightmare was my ultimate favorite. I love that one.
Nightmare?
That was back in the 80s.
Yeah, Nightmare. Yeah, that was like a classic one because that had
Yeah.
it wasn't the dot room. It was almost like a dot room, or they
That
might have had it was like where the person blends in with the wall.
yeah, they had some really cool effects that I'm just shocked they never brought it back. I think they brought it back in they might have done it in lore where they have the screen painting and then
Oh,
when
that was
they
Dominion of the Dead.
okay, yeah, where they illuminate the room and then the actors are in the room. That was a
Oh,
really
I think what you're saying is, are you saying that they brought it back like in a more recent one?
well, they had it in Nightmare. That was the first time I remember
Oh,
seeing
okay,
it.
okay, I didn't know.
And then I could have swore they had it in one of the later ones too. Whether it was
I think they might have, but I was taking care of my dad, so I didn't see it.
oh okay,
But in the old Dominion, for sure, they had that too.
yeah.
And like I have, because I worked in those mazes for so long, they're probably grainy, like you said, but I have a ton of video of all that.
Oh, do you?
Like, yeah, you could look at it and see if you want it for anything. Like, but yeah, I have hours of old video.
Oh wow. Are they digitized?
What
Not
kind
a.
of? I put them on DVD.
Oh, okay.
So,
I would still have to digitize them,
okay, yeah, yeah.
meaning putting them on a
That,
computer.
yeah, it probably takes forever because it took me a long time just to put them on DVD.
Yeah, I just had. Well, before we started doing the podcast,
Yeah.
I converted all my DV tapes to DVD, and then I had to go. Well, they actually did digital versions too, but yeah, I had Sam's Club do it because I didn't have the equipment, but yeah, and then I just cleaned them up. I just degrained them and scaled. I up-resed
Like
them.
software, you mean?
Yeah, cause I have software that will up-res them and then it'll degrain them and sharpen it a little bit. It's still
Okay.
low quality because all the grain and the softness. It's hard to capture all the detail, but I was able to color it a little bit more and make it look a little cleaner, I guess you could say. And it was fine. It worked. It's what's in our mine and Chris Mendez's video.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the pre-show and then some scary.
Oh, I saw those. Yeah, they're kind of like night vision shots.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was able to clean all that up because they looked bad. They were pretty bad. But to a technology now, you can. I was able to even scale it to HD. They were at 2480, something like that. They were
it's really low.
Yeah, I was able to at least get it to like HD without much loss. So not bad. It took a while, but it literally took like a day to do it, to render it, because it's a lot of footage.
I know it's a long, like if I ever do stuff with all my videos, it's gonna take so long. I already know it. Like I already know because I did the DVDs and that took forever.
Yeah, you just have to think, is it worth it? Is this I mean, because I digitized all of my DVDs, like literally every single title I had. I have it on a server, and then I use Plex as we go off topic. But it's just a matter of, so I have all my haunt stuff. I have the haunted media stuff on there. I literally have everything because to me it's memories, and periodically I like to watch them. So it's just a matter of like, would you ever sit down and watch them? That's the question you got to ask yourself.
What we do, this kind of goes back on a little bit. We the people that worked in Dominion of the Dead, there's a small handful of us that still keep in touch. So every couple of years, we'll get together at someone's house and watch those old DVDs.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of like it's like a little reunion thing.
That's cool. I thought about doing something like that on the podcast, grabbing like a handful of people from Ghost Town that we worked with, or and just watched footage with everybody in it, like the pre-show, and just had a little talk about it, as it's playing. And
that would be good. I mean, because everyone has a million stories, man.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you were there or sometimes you weren't there.
Yeah.
But you always hear like, oh, I heard that happen. Like the guy with the stake, the guy running with the stake. Like you always hear about those. And then I think it was it Todd Stubler that did that or something?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you always hear about it, but you weren't, like some people weren't there. So it would be good to talk about it, like like you said, on a like a group thing.
Yeah, it would be cool. We're throwing out ideas, and seeing what we can. We'll do one. It's hard when you have a lot of people on though. It can get really muddy and messy quick. Yeah, because like everybody wants to talk, and everyone's talking over each other. It'll be hard to control. I would definitely have to have someone kind of mediate it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it's maybe down the road we'll do it. Like, yeah. So we'll see. So let's get back. We'll get back on track. So sorry guys, we went off topic. So you do lore. How many years did you do lore?
I think it was 4 years. 2001, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, 4 years.
4 years. Okay, and it went away after that, right? Didn't the vampires?
No. It was there one more year.
Okay, so that last year you didn't do a send off. You didn't work in it.
No, but I'm gonna say something that's crazy, but like I didn't do a send off, but I kind of, in a weird way, did. And like, no one. Okay, I don't care about saying it now. It's so many years ago,
right?
But I only told a few people at the time. What happened was, okay, so that I could tell you another time about the story how I got on streets. It was through Craig, but so first I went to CS first. And so I wasn't very happy there. Like, it was very cool and all that, to be with my friends. Mm-hmm. But I was missing the maze like a lot. And it was right next to me because I was in Camp Sneeby and I was like right next to it. And so everyone was like telling me like, dude, man, we wish you were back. We wish you were back. And so I was like, maybe I can come back. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, maybe I should come back on the last night. And then like everyone was like, you can't do that. And then like everyone was like, you can't do that. And I go, who says I can't?
The good old school, not no haunt days, man. The shit we got away with.
So here's the crazy part. Okay, so one of the guys in the maze had a costume, not the Lost Boy one, but the more traditional, like it's called the King Vampire outfit.
Okay.
So he had that ready, and he goes, "I'm going to get this ready for you for the last night." And so I don't know why, but the talent captain in Lord of the Vampire, it was this older woman. She did not. She was like cool with it. She goes, "I know what you guys are planning," and she goes, "And I'm not going to say a word."
Was that Charlene?
No, I don't think so. It was a blonde woman that was maybe in her 50s, and I forgot her name.
Okay.
She had short blonde hair, and
I don't remember if Charlene had blonde hair. I remember her being older, and less. What would be the word?
are you talking about the woman that was Ghost Town for a little while?
She was Ghost Town for a bit,
and kind of short and older, like.
Yes.
Oh, it wasn't her.
Okay.
But so this woman in lore said, like, I heard what you guys are doing, and don't worry, I'm not going to say a word. And I was like, really? And she goes, yeah. And so I go, okay. So then some of the girls were like, they're like, okay, we're gonna do your makeup for you and all that. So we had to make a plan, right?
Oh wow, you guys went all out.
Yeah, we did. And so
how the hell did you pull that off, dude?
It's crazy, dude, and you're gonna laugh when I tell you the end of it. But we were in. Okay, so Camp Snoopy, what they like to do every I don't know if it's every night or once I don't remember, but they do the march, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was a rookie at the time in CS, so they're like, okay, they're like explaining to me and like my rookie guys in CS, like, okay, you're gonna stand here, you're gonna go there, you're gonna walk here, da 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 da, and I was just going like this, like listening to the instructions, like, and then, but in my head, it's like I ain't gonna be there. So then they're getting ready for the march thing, right? And so I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going back to the maze, man. So then so I was like fixing myself up, looking good and all that. And then Question comes in the break room and he goes, "Hey, Mike," and I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Why are you looking so good? Why?" And I go, "I'm going to take pictures." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And then he ran back to the wherever, and then they all were doing the march thing, but they didn't notice that I was gone. I don't know why.
Right.
And so I went to the lower break room, which is like 10 feet away.
Yeah.
And so then their talent captain is looking like she don't care. And like all the girls are like putting the makeup on me, like the vampire stuff. And then the guy with the costume is like, here you go, man. So then I put everything on and everyone's like, you look like you did, like from before. So then I just go in the maze and I start scaring and stuff. And like, I'm coming through. And then like, I don't know if there's this guy named Nails. He's a vampire guy in the vampire maze, and he has real long hair and he looks familiar. Like a vampire. Huh?
Yeah, he sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he was like a regular, and then I came into the maze, and he goes, "You don't know how good it feels to see you back, man." And then I was like, "Thanks, man." And then I kept going through, and I was doing all, and everyone was like everyone in the maze is like, "Yeah, like Mike's back."
That's awesome.
And then so I went into the Queen's room, and see, Sandy didn't know about it. Everyone else knew, but Sandy didn't know. And so I used to stand on her coffin when I used to be in the maze. And that was one of my little routines that I did. So I did it. I climbed up into the coffin and I stood there holding her rope thing, and she started clapping.
Nice.
And so everyone was like, and then the girls were like saying, if any yellow shirts come in or anything like that, we're going to get you and tell you to run. So then I go in there, and then like one of the girls peeks in and she goes, "Run!" So I'm running out, and then I go to the and then I escape and everything, and I go up to the break room, and Streets leaves earlier.
Yeah.
So they leave, So, and no one notices that I did that. And so all the vampires are with me and we're walking back, to the warehouse P
Right.
together. And it's like the way it used to be. And then, um, uh, remember Beast? His name was Mike.
Yep.
He came up to me and he put his hand on my shoulder, on my back, and he goes, "Craig wants to talk to you. Craig wants to talk to you." He was all serious, right? And I was like, "Holy crap!" So then I'm walking, and I'm late because all the streets are all gone. And then I walk, and then Craig comes running out of Warehouse P, like running,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Mike," and I go, "Yeah," and then in my head, I thought he said, "You're fired." Like that's what I imagined.
Right.
But he really said, "You forgot your incentive tickets."
Oh. And then he probably said you're fired because he always said we were
No,
all
he
fired.
didn't. He didn't even know. Like he didn't know it. Like, and if he hears this, sorry, Craig.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He probably won't care now.
I don't think he's gonna care now. Yeah, but at the time, it was like I thought I was over.
Yeah.
And no one and now they know, but no one in CS knew
That's so
knew at
funny.
all.
How long did you were you in there all night or just for a few hours?
I'd say I was in there maybe the last 2 hours.
Okay. Okay, that's how you were. Yeah, we've done that. I've scared in CS for a couple hours before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've literally scared in every zone. I've scared in Carnival, practically scared in Boardwalk because I went across the train tracks a few times and scared over by the Good Time Theater, but
And no one said nothing.
no one said anything. If they did, I would have just said, "Oh, I'm coming back from."
Oh, you're just going to break or
Lakeside, yeah. Sometimes I would go over to Lakeside, but and then when Swamp was going on, we went scared over there. But
Oh yeah, that was good.
We actually got caught a few times. Craig would always just go, "Get back."
Yeah.
But a lot of it was because we were playing Capture the Flag.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we would go into their zones to try and get the flags, but we'd end up just scaring with people.
I remember there was like also like stealing an alligator or something.
Yep. Yeah. Oh god, this shit we used to do. They would get fucking fired so fast.
Yeah, right. Like right now, everyone tells me about the rules, and it's like you cannot. There's no way.
Well, it's crazy because when I went back in 2015, I had all these so-called rules in my head,
Yeah.
and Scott kind of he was the lead or the talent captain or whatever he was, and he pretty much got me in without having to audition, which was pretty rad.
Okay.
Anyways, and so I went in there and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go and just have fun. I'm not going to go goof off or go like try to, cause trouble. So, it was almost like being back my very first year in underground where I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to break the rules. It kind of felt that way at first, and I walked around and I knew nobody. The people I did know, they weren't there. I don't think they were there the first night, or I didn't see them the first night. But anyways, yeah. So I was kind of like, I had all these rules in my head, like, oh, you can't chase people for more than like 5 steps. You can't, take pictures. You can't do this. You can't do that. I'm just like, fuck, dude. And I was trying to remember everything because I didn't want to like cause any trouble. But as I started working with more and more of the guys, and they were just like, just be a monster. It's like, be who you are. And I'm like, all right. And I did. I kind of loosened up a little bit and just had fun. Still didn't cause trouble, but I had fun. But I felt so lost that first night. That first night I was walking around like a little boy first going to school with my head down.
It's almost like it's new again.
It really was, and then my costume wasn't like ready. I rushed everything. So it was like I had a lot of issues with it. I wanted to bring a new level to the character and I just wasn't ready for it. I was so unprepared. I was prepared but unprepared, if that makes any sense. The thought process behind the character was there, but like I didn't have time to really develop mannerisms and all that, you know, and take it to that next level.
Yeah.
But anyways, so you go and you sneak in and you do your farewell to Lore, which at that point was, I think that was they got rid of the vampire mazes for a bit, right?
That might have been that might have been the last year of Lore. They I don't know when they brought it back, but when they did bring it back, it was only a modern club scene.
Oh, okay.
So it could have been that the next year after that. It could have been, because there's a girl that I know, Serena, who was in the different vampire mazes with me, and she went and did that.
That was over by Ghost Rider, right?
Yeah, it was like the backstage ones.
Yeah, I remember that one. I don't remember the name of it though.
It was just called Club Blood.
That's right. That's right.
And it was kind of like see, when we were in Lore, when I was a Lost Boy, my room was called Club Blood.
Oh, okay.
That was the name of the room. And so they just, instead of making a variety maze, they just made one big Club Blood.
Oh, okay.
And then after that is when they started. I think they took it away, like you said, and then I think Brooke brought back a version of Dominion of the Dead, but it wasn't the real one, but it was like kind of like the same name.
Yeah.
And it was a new one.
I don't remember it. At that point, I was.
Yeah. No one really remembers those last couple ones very well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
it kind of faded, like.
Yeah, the vampire thing kind of just went away. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
like,
because when the old Dominion was there, see, I heard from someone, I can't remember who it was. They said that it was actually supposed to be Bram Stoker's Dracula, like a licensed thing.
Oh, okay.
Not Dominion, but Lair of the Vampire, the first one.
Oh, okay.
And so what happened was, they no longer had the license. Like, I don't know if it was Universal or who it was, changed their mind and didn't want to do it. So they just called it Lair of the Vampire, and it was like the first one.
Okay.
And so what I mean is like movies at that time were more big with vampires. And then I think as time went on, it became more like zombies were popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the whole vampire thing like went away. And I remember in Dominion back in the 90s, I don't know if you remember this, but like there was a lot of goth kids all over the place. And so they kind of gravitated to that. And then there were years and years where no one was doing no goth, kind of like you had the hardcore people that would go to clubs still, but not the young kids. And then and I think more recently younger kids are getting back into that look. So, but I don't think they're going to bring back Vampire Maze, but I think that was part of the thing back in those days in the 90s, because you had like the alternative music was dark, and you had vampire movies, and it was like a whole thing. And then things changed over time.
Yeah. Well, it was it was back then. There was a trend for it.
Yeah,
you know,
there was
a movement, I guess you would say.
Kind of, yeah, and because all my backstage pictures from that time was like a lot of people were into that stuff, like that worked in Dominion.
Yeah,
and they wanted to keep going back over and over and over again, like every year.
Right. So you're after that. Lore goes away. So the next year is when you go to Ghost Town, right?
So 2005, I went to CS first,
right?
And then I didn't really like it, so then I went to Ghost Town. Craig was really cool to me because he told me after the maze, he said, you have a choice of CS or Ghost Town, because he said he was really a cool guy, because he goes, I know you're friends with both sides, like you're friends with Ghost Town people and CS people, and I'll let you go where you want to go. Yeah. So I tried CS because I thought I would enjoy it because a lot of my friends are there, but I wasn't that into it. But and then so he said, I told him, I go, hey, is it okay if I go to Ghost Town instead? And he's like, yeah, he didn't care. He was like okay with it.
That's cool.
And so I went to Ghost Town in '06,
Yeah.
and that was like a really fun, good like rookie year for me.
Yep. Yeah. And it was a bummer because that was my last year.
Oh, was it?
That was my last year. Yeah. It wasn't a planned last year. Like
Oh,
like 3 quarters in, I was like, that incident happened with. I don't know if you remember. I think you were there. The incident with the kid.
oh, I wasn't. I might have been there, like in the time period,
No,
but
I
I didn't
think.
hear about it till later.
Oh, okay.
And that was I don't know if you told me or like someone from Ghost Town told me.
Yeah, it got around, right, quick.
Like it was like, oh, something happened, and I saw you somewhere. I don't know if I was in hanging out with you one time or you were telling like a group of people.
Hmm.
You were telling them that like, hey, I just decided that like this is getting to me, this like, all this like craziness, the hitting and all. It goes, I want to break from it or something like that. Like that's
Well, it a lot of it had to do with the drama I was being involved in.
okay. See, I didn't know that like at
Yeah,
all.
I was getting caught up in just some bullshit, total
Okay.
bullcrap. X shit, and
Oh, you
then
know what? Yeah, if you don't want to go on with that, I think I heard about that
mhm,
from partially from you way later. I'm talking like
yeah,
like a decade or more later. You did tell me that. I didn't know those two were related though.
yeah, but it was I was no the kid kicking me was just the last straw of my
Oh,
year.
okay.
I had a really
Okay.
bad. That was the year my mom passed. I
Oh,
had
okay.
my house broken into, and then just the all year long dealing with the whole, you know, chick female crap.
So it was like
That
overall a bad year, and it wasn't
well, I was looking
Haunt
forward.
wasn't.
Yeah, I was looking forward to Haunt, and then and then it all just kind of followed me out. Like Haunt was like my outlet, so I was looking forward to just releasing all that stress and anger and frustration, and and just having fun and seeing all my friends again. And then it just like it followed me there, and it was just like this sucks. This is not fun for me anymore. Because then who's my wife now, at the time we were barely even dating at that time. She was getting shit and having
Right.
and she had nothing to do with it, and it's just like so it's just stupid stuff like that, and then it just kept building up, and then that kid kicked me in the face, and I fucking snapped. I saw red and I snapped.
Yeah, I didn't know he kicked you in the face. Dang.
Yeah, so I was sliding. I went to go slide at them, and I was prone, and he came out from behind his group of people and just barged through, went to kick me in the face, and I got up, and the contact that he had as I was sitting up was pretty brutal, and he knocked me
Yeah.
back. So if I hadn't gotten up, he probably would have kicked my neck back and could
Oh man.
like seriously hurt me. So luckily I was quick enough to see it coming, and then he kicked me back, and I just got up and I manhandled that kid. I didn't know he was a kid. He looked like he was older, and I just
Yeah.
picked him up and I threw him up against the wall, and I got in his face and blah 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 blah. And then later on, when security came, they asked him, "How old are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm 14." My heart sank. I seriously thought that I was done at that point.
Yeah.
I was so scared, But the kid was too stupid to realize that he could have done anything about it. And then so security
Yeah.
just took him away, and then they let him back out. But so I talked to Craig later on, and he's like, "You seem to be having a rough year." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You think it's time to hang up the mask?" And I go, "I don't know, man. I think so." So I finished the year, but yeah, I pretty much ended it. Because at that point, my career went into a whole different direction, and then it just kind of worked out naturally. So, but anyways, We'll cut that out
Yeah,
because that doesn't have anything to do with you.
I just need, huh?
I said we'll cut that. We'll cut all that out because it has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
I don't want to take the spotlight from you.
That's okay.
It's so funny. But yeah, so it was so it was a bummer. Right? Your first year in Ghost Town was my last year. But so how many years after that did you stay in Ghost Town?
So I was in Ghost Town, let me see, 5 years.
And then you retired at that point?
Well, what happened was so in '08, my dad got real sick, like super handicapped, and all kinds of stuff happened, like heart attacks, strokes, kidney dialysis, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I couldn't do haunt no more, but then I had asked my brother, can you come over on the weekends? And then also whoever was in charge at the time, it was Craig. He said I could do just weekends if I want.
Oh, cool.
So I did that only for a little while. And I did it for like 2 years. So, because then my brother, he couldn't do it no more after the second year. So in 2010 is when I had to quit.
Gotcha.
Like I had to because my brother couldn't help no more, and my dad was way too handicapped. So I wasn't planning to quit, but I was there. I had a good 5 years, but I couldn't keep going only because there's no way. And even when I was doing the weekends only, I'd come back and like I'd be so like freaking tired. Like it kind of wasn't good in a way because I had to do stuff for my dad like 24/7. So my brother would leave and I'd come home and it'd be like right away I'd have to do stuff, even though whether I slept or not, you know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't good for anyone because I was losing sleep, and it was just it was better. Even though I was mad like at my brother because he didn't want to help, but it's probably better that I had to quit.
Yeah.
You know, because my dad needed more attention. You know.
Right. Yeah, family comes first, man, for sure.
Yeah. So, but I was one of those guys that I was gonna do it for as long as possible because people on streets, like it was like random people would come up to me when I was working streets, Ghost Town, and they'd like Tracy, Anthony, they would come up and go, so you're gonna keep doing haunt, right, till you can't do it? And I go, yeah, I'm gonna do it till I can't. Like that was like the thing.
Yeah.
So it was in my head. I was like, I'm not stopping, you know. But then that happened. So
yeah, that's unfortunate. But
it was a really good 5 years, man. Like
yeah,
it was.
What was your character? I don't remember.
So it was kind of like the CS one was like a bald headed mask, like scary guy mask, and then I just took the same mask for Ghost Town. So it was pretty generic. I would like to show you it if I
show it to me.
So that the CS one is that's the CS one, and it was the same mask, bald guy. And then when I went to Ghost Town, it's the same mask but cowboy outfit.
Right. Okay, I remember.
And so that one I was like super wild and crazy, like you know how you're not supposed to go in here.
Oh yeah.
And I did it anyway. Like I would do crazy, like I don't know why, but that character in my head was like a madman. Like and like it was funny because so I have a memory of like me scaring near I guess it's the Birdcage Theater.
Yeah.
And so there was some guests running around, and then I took a big old metal bench and dragged it across the floor and trapped them against the wall. and Alicia was there.
Oh my god.
Alicia was there, and she was like watching, and then that night I forgot his name, but one of the guys would have like a little get together at night. Steve Altrin.
Okay.
So we were all in there, and I was chilling, eating food, and then Alicia runs in the room. She goes, you're crazy. And then like, Christy's husband, he was
Robert.
Huh?
Robert.
Yeah, Robert. Robert was there too at the bench. He goes, "You're a madman. You're a madman."
That's funny.
Because they saw me doing that.
That's hilarious.
But that was like the first year maybe.
Oh, really?
First year.
Wow.
Of Ghost Town. And everyone in my rookie class was like people I had known for like 10 years on mazes.
Okay. So
it was like this really cool, like, we made it, like we did it,
Yeah.
And it was really fun. And then here's the next character, which is even crazier. Okay, we used to call that the hatchet, even though that's a meat cleaver. And that was my craziest time because, see, Scott remembers like all the crazy things I did.
Uh-huh.
And like he was he remembers, like, see right there I have a chicken tender.
Okay.
So I'm scaring people with like just random stuff.
That's funny.
And let me go back to the regular camera. But what was really known that I did and that everyone saw was that I would carry a piece of paper towel, like a real piece of just paper towel. And what I would do is I would go to that, that little secret bathroom in the corner?
Yeah.
I would take paper towel like that, and I put a ton of soap on it. And then I go outside. You know how there's different like puddles everywhere, like different water. So I'd drag it in there. So I had this gross looking thing.
Oh my God.
And I would go up to people and I'd go, lick it. And they would.
They would lick it?
They would lick it. And so I would be walking around with this thing like that. Oh, and then everyone would laugh. Like I could hear like Paul Marshman or not, or whoever, like, like you can hear them loud because I'm going after people, like, and I'm going, okay.
Oh my God, that is so.
And the crazy thing is they liked it.
Yeah, these guests are freaking crazy.
And so that character, the hat, that was, everyone called it the hatchet. Like, I don't even think I made that up. I think Ted or someone made that up, like the hatchet.
Okay.
Because I would run around with the meat cleaver just going like that to people. Like so basic, but then people would laugh. Like other monsters would laugh because it was so like not even crazy. It's just like a guy going like that. And then I had, so that one was good because I had this thing called the hatchet cam. One of the Ghost Town guys made up that name.
Okay.
It was called, I'll show you a thing of that. So I'd run around with either a videotape or a camera and like shake the can. You see how there's a little can?
Yeah. So
I would shake the can and have the cleaver in one hand and shake it, and it would sound like this, like chingy 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 chingy, and I would film it.
Is that a shaker can?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a little shaker can.
Okay.
And so everyone would crack up because they'd be like, "It's hatchet cam, it's hatchet," because they'd see me running around with a camera.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
And then the last thing I did, which was super, super crazy, and it started when I was in CS, but I made up this thing called the Trash Can Club.
Trash can. Okay.
Did you hear about that at all?
I don't think so.
I would make the guests get in the trash can.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
And that's the first member of the Trash Can Club, because it was in CS when I first did it. And I don't know if you remember, CS trash cans are different.
Yeah.
So they're bigger and they're like red and white.
Right.
So that girl was in CS getting all scared. Like me and Leroy, his name is Psycho, we were scaring that girl. And then like Question was there and Spaz Gary was there. And so they were like, "Oh, this is crazy. You guys are scared." Like laughing. And then I told that girl, I said, get in the trash can. And she goes, what? And I go, get in the trash can. And she goes, no. And I go, come on, just get in the trash can. And then she did.
That's how you get them to do things. When you tell them to do something, they won't do it. But then it's like, come on, just do it, and then they do it. That was always how I got. I always got guests to do something. When you give them that little titty, like, oh, come on, have some fun, and then
And then Question was looking at me and looking at her, and he was like, why are you doing that? You don't have to get in there. Why are you doing that? And then he was looking at me and go, how did you get her to get in there? And so then I was like holding the trash can like this, and then I started spinning it around like so hard. And then the talent captain at the time, she ran out and she's like, Mike, stop! Stop! And I was like, and I kept swinging it.
Oh man!
And everyone's laughing so loud. And then finally I stopped. But then from that day on, and then the next year I went to Ghost Town, and I told everyone I'm bringing back the trash can club. And then so I started doing it. So I have I can't find it right now, but I have like 50 pictures of people in trash cans.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah, that would be rad to post those.
Yeah.
You gotta post those. And
it was and one time I was at the front gate and I was doing the trash can thing, and then I was telling all these young guys go, and some of them, they were getting in, and then they go, well, why? And I was filming it, right? And they go, what's this for? And all I said was, oh, it's for the internet. And they went, oh, okay. And then they went in.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's awesome. I like that.
That was one of the funniest times, was when I was doing all that crazy stuff in Ghost Town.
Someone needs to bring back the trash can club.
I know.
Come on, you can do it.
And that girl is the first member.
Yeah, that'd be funny to post that and try and find her on Facebook and go, "You're the official first member of the trash can club."
I know. She used to after the first year, she used to come back looking for me.
Oh, that's funny.
Every year for 5 years, and she would be like, what? She didn't call me Lost Boy. She just said Michael, and she would go, Michael, and then monsters would go, some girl is screaming your name in the streets, and then so I find her, I go, okay, we got, and so she was a fan,
Yeah.
So we took a picture every year.
That was cool.
And that was, that, and I told her, I go, you're the first Trash Can Club member, so we have to do a Ghost Town trash can.
That was the Ghost Town picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The lids are very familiar.
Yeah.
We used to use them to scare.
Oh, hit them on the ground?
Mm-hmm. Or we would run and jump.
Slide them.
And slide on them, yeah.
Yeah.
When it was slow, we would do that. We also would do, we also would use the food trays. And we'd slap the food trays with our gloves. That was a good scare. There was never a fail. And then Hector, you remember Hector?
I heard about Hector got fired for that.
Yeah, because it broke and it hit the piece hit the person in the face, the guest.
Oh no!
He got fired and he got blacklisted from that. I don't know if he ever came back though, but he got fired.
It's weird. He did come back.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got fired instantly for that. Jovan was like, dude, Hector just got fired. I'm like, what happened? He told me, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Now we can't do and my whole thought process was like, Hector isn't gone. Now I was like, dude, now we can't do that scare.
I know. It's he made the tool go away.
Hector was fun. He was such a fun monster. I gotta get him on here.
Yeah, I think I was there when he was there partly.
He, I can't remember. That could have been. I think that incident happened maybe 2005.
Okay, so I was Camp Snoopy. If that was that, I was Camp Snoopy.
Yeah, I think it happened then or 2004. It wasn't my last year. It was a year or two before that.
Was he Ghost Town or was he Swamp at that time?
No, he was Ghost Town.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the Indian.
Oh, okay, I remember that.
Yeah, I think he might have. No, there was an Indian before him, but yeah, he was the Indian for a while. Excuse me, Native American.
But I'm pretty sure I remember him coming back,
Yeah.
and people were going like, "How'd you come back?" You know, because of that thing.
Yeah. All it takes is certain people to leave management.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, you get to come back basically. Well, I think we went through everything. Is there anything
Yeah.
that you anything else you want to talk about?
Uh, not. I guess I'm trying to think if I yeah. I think we covered everything.
Well, let's
Everything's pretty much. You know.
everything monster wise. Well, let's talk about
Yeah.
like real quick. Let's talk about like what are you doing now? I know when I saw you in 2019 at your booth, you were selling merch. So how's that going? Are you still doing that? I know that.
I do it well. Like I do it online, but it's really not enough to live on. It's like some money,
It's a
but it's
hobby.
not kind of like that. Yeah, I still want to continue it because I would like to. If it could grow, I'll just try and grow it slowly, I guess. But
Yeah.
um, I'll still do Midsummer Scream. If I'll do it. I already have the booth ready. Like I've had the booth for 2 years. It's just COVID prevented it.
Yeah. They're
So
supposed
I
to come
still
back.
want to do it.
Supposed to be coming back this year.
Yeah, so I'll still do that.
Cool. Well, do you want to plug it? Plug your stuff?
Yeah, you can get everything at lostboymike.com. And that links to all my social.
Okay.
And so the merch is there. This is like one of the shirts, just
Yeah.
my logo.
Yeah.
And then that's basically it. You can just buy shirts, hoodies, things like that. And my social media. If you want to follow me on anything, you just go to lostboymike.com and it's all there.
Cool. All right. Well, with that said, we will end the episode here. So go check out Mike's stuff, support him, support all your fellow monsters, and we will see you on the next episode, guys. Mike, thank you for coming on and being a part of this with us. Sorry, Scott couldn't be here, but he's working.
I'll see him in probably a week or so.
I'm sure you will. So, all right, guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Thank you.